Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Come on in, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about nonprofit startup and grant readiness. So start dropping your questions in the chat box so we can get started. Hi, Stephanie. There's definitely a lag in the live stream, so forgive me if I don't see your comment right away. But start dropping your nonprofit startup questions and your grant readiness questions in the chat box so we can get started. Otherwise, I'm just going to start talking. Where is everyone from? Who do we have today? If you're in the chat, please say hi because I cannot see who's here today. Let me know where you're from. Let me know the name of your organization. And let me know what you want to talk about. Grant writing. Okay. Hello, Tamika. So before we talk about grant writing, I think it's important for us to talk about grant readiness. Let me see if I can share my screen. If not, that's okay. Distribution. Okay, so I don't think I can share my screen since I already started. But before we do talk about grant writing, I really want to talk about grant readiness, which is what we're going to be discussing in detail in 2022. This is why we are revamping our Learning Academy. A lot of people are wondering why they're not getting funded, or, they feel stuck and lost and overwhelmed because you've spent a lot of money out of pocket, but you don't have any funding to support your vision. So not only do you have a weak board of directors, you don't have a program structure, you don't have a budget, you don't have a logic model, and you don't have any funding. So the name of the game for 2022 is grant readiness. So I'm trying to pull up this Instagram post that I just made. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I made a post that says, "You want grants, but are you grant ready?" Our Instagram is nonprofit for newbies, just like the Facebook group, no spaces. I wish I could share my screen with you, but I'm just going to go over some of the information that's on here and see if we have any questions. Oh, thank you, Brandy. Hi, Latosha. Awesome. So I'm just going to go over a few grant readiness tips, and you guys can tell me whether or not you think that you are grant ready in the comments, and you can also drop questions and I'll try to answer them. Today is jam-packed with calls, so I only have about 30 minutes to answer questions. So I'm just going to start sharing some information to spark some conversation here. So the first thing I want to talk about is your organization's foundation. So I released, if not, I am going to release tomorrow, actually, the 22nd. If you have been following our 12 Days of Christmas on our email newsletter, I've been releasing free mini trainings all week. And one of the ones that I'm releasing tomorrow is the one about whether or not your organization's foundation is strong. So the first one I wanted to talk about is investing in your idea. So here's the deal, you either have money or you have time. If you have money and time, then you're off to a great start. But a lot of us have one or the other. or you need to make it so that you have one or the other. Okay, so if you have time, then you need to put the time into your organization. If you have money, then you can pay someone else for their time to help you. It's really difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, because there are always blessings and opportunities out there. But for the most part, as a business owner, you need to be prepared to either have money or time. Same thing, it's just like a for profit when it comes to marketing. Either you have time to, DM every single follower and connect with every single follower, and, put out content all day, every day, or you have marketing dollars to pay for ads and bring people to you, and you don't have to play a waiting game. It's the same thing with a nonprofit. You either have money or time. So if you are 2022 grant readiness, put 2022 grant readiness in the comments. So if you are just starting out, I want to know, have you invested in your idea? Have you invested your time? And have you invested your money? If you have not invested, why do you feel like someone else should invest in your idea? There are already nonprofits out there, so you need to show us why your organization is so important. And one of the best ways you can do it is, walking what you're talking. So don't ask me for $100 if you haven't put $100 into your organization. And I'm not saying it has to be like that forever, but a lot of the times when we're just starting out, we have to prove the need for what we're doing in order to get people motivated. So either, have the money or have the time. If you have both, again, that's a winning combination, but you're going to have to invest money. And if you don't have money, put in a lot of time to substitute for that. That's one thing I love about our company, Nonprofit for Newbies. If you have enough time, if you go through every single post all day, every day, and go through our guide section and look through our website, there is plenty of information that will assist you on your way. If you join our Learning Academy, it's $25 a month. It's $49 enrollment fee, and it's $25 a month. We have every single course you could ever need: budgeting, board development, structuring your board. We even have walkthroughs of filing your paperwork. So some of you are like, okay, well, I don't have $3,000 to file my paperwork. I can't get started. Well, but I don't want to do it myself. Well, if you don't have the money, then you need to take some time to learn how to do it. There are people out there that are willing to help you as long as you're willing to put in the effort. So Nonprofit for Newbies is one of those companies. We're willing to help you. If you attend our weekly workshops in our Learning Academy, it's $25 a month. Invest that in us, invest your time, and we will help you get what you need done. If you don't have time to attend weekly workshops and attend coaching sessions, then we're able to say, hey, if you want to have our board development coach come in and train your board, you can pay us to do that. If you want us to put together a business plan for you, we can do that for you. If you want us to write a grant for you, we can do that for you. But you either have to have money or you have to have time. Okay, and again, I'm looking at my phone here. I only have about 15 more minutes to chat with you guys. So drop questions, drop comments. Heidi said 25 a month for how long? So there's no commitment to the Learning Academy, so you can cancel at any time, but we recommend that you stick with us for a year, depending on where you're at. If you know you're not grant ready, so if you need help with your mission, your vision, your program design, your board development, your logic models, your case statement, that stuff takes time. We're not here to promise you that you're going to be a millionaire and you're going to receive $1 million worth of grants within 3 months. If someone is telling you that, then check the resources, okay? Check the sources, check the proof. This stuff takes time. So we recommend sticking with us. If you have 3 programs, stick with us for a year to get all those programs fully funded and get yourself grant ready and ready to add on another program. So if you want to stay for the first 3 months, you can. If you want to stay for 1 month and get weekly workshops for a month and see if it fits your organization, you can totally do that. But we do recommend you try to stay with us for at least a year. Then you'll no longer be a newbie. You'll have everything you need. Okay, Heidi's ready. Let me send the link. 1 second. It's on our website. It's nonprofitfornewbies.com under Get Started. Learning Academy. So what you do is when you enroll, so it's a $49 enrollment fee. After you sign up, it's going to ask you, you're going to fill out a brief questionnaire. It just tells us, your learning style, whether or not you like us to talk more and, you'll take notes and read it on your own time, whether or not you like to talk, whether you like to talk to us and then have us, take notes and listen to you and provide answers, just asking about your learning style, what works best for you, your personal schedule. But once you join the Learning Academy, we want you to schedule your 22 funding strategy call with our grant writer, Nicole. She is going to talk about which the strategies are that we have in place for your organization specifically based on your 2022 goals. So you're going to schedule your call. Our new workshops start January 2nd, 2022. So we have over 100 organizations that are going to be meeting with us on a weekly basis. And then we have our coaching sessions that we're going to do one-on-one with you. So while you're waiting for our one-on-one classes and our workshops to start on January 2nd, we also have probably maybe $10,000 worth of courses in the academy already that you could use. If you need help with your paperwork, there's a walk through the 1023EZ, explanation on articles. There is budgeting. We have a budgeting masterclass, a business planning masterclass. There's so much information in there for you to get started, and then connect with me about any questions. Mr. Julius, the link is in the comments. My mom is actually on here. Her name is Tanya. Everyone say hi to Tanya. And she posted the link for me. So thank you. Just repost the link for me so I can continue helping out. Okay. So again, either you have time or you have money. Number 2, foundation. Is your foundation strong? A lot of you filed your articles of incorporation, but you isn't in compliance. So a lot of times the state and the IRS have different compliance guidelines. So you might have gotten approved by the state, but when you went to file with the IRS, you weren't in compliance. So you need to check to see if you have the provisions that were required by the IRS. Do you have a purpose provision? Do you have a limitation on activities? And do you have a dissolution clause? Those provisions are required in order for you to apply for 501c3 status. Now, sometimes what happens is you don't include that information, and then you file the 1023EZ, which is the short form application for 501c3 status, and the IRS doesn't look at your application, they just approve it, but you never had those provisions in your original state articles. So, years down the line, you could have questions from the IRS and your foundation was never strong in the first place. Your paperwork wasn't filed correctly. Just because you got approved does not mean that your paperwork is filed correctly. So again, check for your purpose clause, your limitation on activities, which states the limitations on the activities that you're allowed to perform as a 501c3. And then check on the dissolution clause, which essentially says that the assets that you have, if your organization was dissolved, would go to another nonprofit organization or would typically go to the state, okay? You need a clear mission and vision, which is self-explanatory. You need to be showing up online. So we have a lot of organizations, and professionally, so we have a lot of organizations who don't have a website. So yes, you can be out in the world, out in your communities networking and building relationships, but how do you expect the people that you're networking with to spread the word about your organization and you don't have a website, you don't have a Facebook page, you don't have a professional LinkedIn profile, or you have a website that doesn't explain anything about your organization, there's no donation link, you get a selfie as a founder's picture, your board is nowhere in existence. So you need to be showing up online in a professional manner, and you need to have a strong board of directors. So I'm sorry, guys, this is a crash course. I will replay, and I'll probably just go live again because there's a lot of information I want to share with everyone, and I want to be able to have time for questions. But again, I do have a lot of calls today, so I just wanted to hop on for a moment. Okay, so board of directors. You need to have 3 board members at a minimum. You should have a board president, a board secretary, and a board treasurer. These are 100% volunteer. So these people typically are going to be contributing, no more than 3 to 4 hours out of the month towards your organization. And those hours, maybe that's an hour towards a board meeting. It might be an hour towards attending a fundraising event, or an hour and a half. And it might be 2 hours towards, whatever their delegated tasks are. If it's social media management, if they're supposed to be helping you with board development or website building, or whatever that board member is supposed to be helping you with, that might be that last additional 2 hours. They're supposed to help you push the mission forward, and they're supposed to help you make the decisions for the organization. So I know it's your baby. I know that, you feel like you can make the best decisions for the organization, but in order to have a strong foundation, you need to be able to give your board members the opportunity to help you make decisions. You need to be informing them of the decisions that you've made and making sure that they are on board with the decisions that you made for the organization. It doesn't have to be every time you spend $15, but if you do spend $100 out of a $5,000 budget, you should run that up, across the board, past the board, I should say. So making sure your board of directors is strong. If you have board of directors who don't have any clue what they're doing, that's where the Learning Academy can come in. We are going to have a Train the Board training, which is a part of our Academy workshops, where we will train your board members on what they're supposed to be doing, as far as fundraising goes, as far as their responsibilities, so that you're not doing it all yourself. But if you have board members who they're present, they're attending the board meetings, and they're saying, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, but when they say we're, they just really mean you, then you probably need a new board of directors. So you need to have that discussion with them about what their responsibilities are, because maybe they're not aware. If they're not willing to, uphold those responsibilities, then maybe you need to ask them to resign and allow someone else to fill their place who's able to assist you in the way that you need to be assisted as a founder. It's completely, I'm not going to say it's impossible. It's very difficult for you to do everything on your own. You do need support, or else you're going to be feeling overwhelmed, which a lot of you are. Okay. So that's your board of directors. I'm just going to go through the foundation today. We're not going to have too much time for anything else. Again, this checklist I'm looking at is on Instagram at nonprofitfornewbies.com. It's the post that says, you want grants, but are you grant ready? So I might just go live maybe next week and the week after and talk about the other things on the checklist. But as far as the foundation of your organization, I also want to talk about your target market. So a lot of you want to serve everybody, you want to help everybody, you want to do everything for everybody, but you really need to niche down and choose a target market. So what is the demographic of people that you want to serve? So if it's homeless people, it's homeless people. If it's domestic violence victims, it's domestic violence victims. If it's the youth, it's the youth. You need to niche down, because you trying to explain 3 different missions, 3 different visions, 3 different programs, in addition to trying to fundraise for those, or for all of those programs, is going to be difficult when you have so many different moving parts and different types of people that you help. When we're talking about grant readiness, that's a big one. It might be okay for you to, have a book bag drive, and then have a support group for survivors, and then have a agency for dogs. But it's like, when you think about funding, you have to have a narrative for each of these programs, which means you have to have the who, what, why, where, and when, and how. You have to have a budget with a justification. So this is the amount that it costs us to run this program, and this is where we got those amounts from. So if it's a volunteer cleaning service, we need the cleaning supplies, we need the travel expenses, we need the personnel who are going to do the cleaning. All of those are your program expenses. If you have, let's say, 10 programs serving 4 different types of demographics of people, you're going to spread yourself way too thin, and that's why you're going to be overwhelmed. Okay, so focus small, find your niche for the moment, and then as you have more support, as your board of directors grows, as you're able to bring on staff and you have more funding, then you can bring on additional programs. Okay. In addition to your budget, you're going to need to have a case statement, which is the statistics behind the need for your program. So you also want to look and see what the need is. if you're doing something that 10 other organizations are doing in your community, then there's no need, and that's why you're going to struggle to receive funding. So you want to really look and see, as far as the, sorry, I'm getting so many notifications. As far as the need for the community, if you know that there's 10 organizations that help domestic violence survivors, but no one is helping them find immediate housing as soon as they leave their abuser, you need to think creatively. Number one, you might not have the funding to start a building. Okay, so you need to start with what you have. But number two, you also want to think about, okay, what can we do for them that's not being done already? You might be able to provide a $50 stipend for them to stay in a hotel for a day, in an anonymous location. Or you might be able to fundraise $150 to help them have somewhere safe to stay for 3 days while they wait for their acceptance into the transitional housing. So you need to be creative with looking at what the other partner organizations are doing in your community and how you can help them. So that might be you connecting with all of the other organizations, and reaching out and saying, hey, this is a service that I offer. I noticed that you don't offer this. If you have someone who you can't house right away, send them over to me. I'll get them housed for 3 days, and then we'll send them back to you when you're ready for them. So you need to look at what's already being done in the community and fill an unmet need. If you're doing what everyone else is already doing, then there's not going to be any funding available for you, because those large organizations who've built relationships with those funders are already doing that work. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk about today as far as your organization's foundation being strong. Let's see. Okay, we got questions here. I got a few more minutes. Is there a promo code to join? No, you just click the website, and it will prompt you to enroll. How to find the right board members. So there are a few resources for finding board members, but first you want to look at, when you say the right board members, what type of board members does your organization need? Because it's not a one size fits all. If you are the founder, I would like you to sit down and make a list of all of the strengths that you have. If you are good with serving, so a lot of you, our founders here, are good with serving their community. If you are good with volunteer management and HR, if you're good with outreach, speaking to others, fundraising, those are your strengths. But if you have no clue how to build a website, if you have no clue how to maintain a social media page, that is where you need to find a board member. So for you might be looking in, let's just say, a college or university newspaper to see if there's anyone passionate about interning for your organization or becoming a board member who has talent within the social media realm. So it depends what type of strength you're looking for, which would determine, how you find that board member. Also, in every state, there are foundations that connect you with board members. So you can check United Way, and then oftentimes there's a volunteer foundation for your state. And they will actually, people who want to volunteer will come to that foundation, get training, and then they will distribute those board members out to the organizations in need. So take a look at that as well, as far as finding the right board members. But again, the best thing you can do is make sure your foundation is strong, you have a clear mission and vision, you're showing up online, because no one's going to want to get involved in your organization if you don't have a web presence and you're not able to strongly show, if they're complete strangers, be able to show what you've done or what you plan to do. Okay. Without restarting the process, can a 501c3 operate in multiple states? Okay, so this is a tricky one, and it's also technically a legal question, but I will give you the basis for the answer, and I will tell you also to consult an attorney for further information. But I can tell you that as a 501c3 organization, you can operate in multiple states. So your 501c3 is an IRS designation, which means it's federal. Just like you file your taxes, there's state taxes and IRS federal taxes. It's completely separate. So your 501c3 is valid across the United States. However, the IRS really hasn't developed the laws as far as the updated technology. So now when you're fundraising, if you post a Facebook fundraiser online, there's no way for you to know, okay, well, this fundraising, this donation came from Florida, this one came from Maryland. There's no way for you to really find that information. Generally, if you are fundraising, you want to check in your state that you're based out of and see if there's a fundraising solicitation form that you need to complete. And every other state that you're going to operate in, check with the Attorney General to see if they have any fundraising solicitation laws or applications that they want you to complete. After that, then you want to call the Secretary of State to see if they want you, based on the services that you're providing, would they want you to register in that state as a foreign organization. Okay, so if you register as a foreign, it's just like if you started in Maryland but you want to move out to Virginia, you're going to file almost like an articles of incorporation again in Virginia. Okay, but that's just state by state. I don't want to confuse you. Ultimately, I should tell you just consult an attorney to find out, what's legal. But again, you can just put some legwork in and call the Attorney General and call the Secretary of State to find out as well. Okay, but if you receive a donation, it's tax deductible from the IRS anywhere in the United States. Okay, any other questions for me before I go back to my workday? All right, so yeah, we're about 30 minutes in. I really didn't get to talk about everything that I want to talk about with you guys. I did release a 12 Days of Christmas. So if you're on my email list, then I did have a few trainings that I released completely free, and there's going to be some more all the way up until Christmas. I strongly advise that you take a look at those trainings as well and see if there's any other information that might benefit you. We also did an intro to grants training completely free on Tuesday. And again, if you need that hand holding, at an affordable rate, we have our Learning Academy. It's a $49 enrollment fee, and then it's $25 a month to maintain your membership. It includes our workshops, our weekly workshops, where we will walk you through not only clarifying your vision, your mission, designing your programs, achieving funding, and writing grants. Awesome. So, yep, we have tons of resources for you guys. The 12 Days of Christmas, if you're not on our mailing list, you need to go to nonprofitfornewbies.com and look in the cafe. It's called the cafe, but it's essentially like a lot of free resources in there. And look for the startup planner. If you sign up for our startup planner, then you'll be on our mailing list, because once you sign up for the starting planner, we'll start sending you more emails with free resources and sales that we have and trainings. Okay, Miss Freeman said she'd love to have the hand holding. Again, that's nonprofitfornewbies.com. Under Get Started, you'll see the Learning Academy. You can join us there. We have the weekly workshops for the Learning Academy. Again, we have over 100 organizations in there, so that is going to be a group hand holding. And then in addition, so that we don't lose anyone, we have one-on-one coaching that we offer in addition to the weekly workshops. So if we are talking about how to create a logic model in the workshop, then in addition to that, you can schedule some one-on-one time with us to work through your logic model or ask us any questions that you have. Okay, does that make sense? All right. I think I've seen another question. All right, so I'm going to end this live video now. I know a lot of people are at work right now, so I will post the replay so everyone can see it. And if you have any questions about anything that I talked about, feel free to reach out to me in my inbox at Gigi Law, or you can reach out to me on the Nonprofit for Newbies Facebook page as well. Or you can send me an email, customerservice@nonprofitfornewbies.com. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a great holiday, and I will see you again soon.